Hey everyone, this is Dan with the Spiritual Underground Podcast. Sitting here, have the studio all set up and ready to go. And once in a while, I'm not clear enough in my text about what day and when. And my guest for tonight thought we were going to meet tomorrow night and instead of tonight. And so here I sit. There's a bunch of those, right? There's some of that goes on in the inside of bathroom stalls. Here I sit, all something I don't remember, but it made me think of that. So I really haven't done one of these Dan's musings in some time, and things have been a lot piles up, and there's a little bit of a release here, somewhat the same way as having somebody to talk to in this program where you can just dump your stuff and not carry it around. We have that analogy of carrying around a garbage bag and or a garbage can. I say like having backpack straps on a garbage can, speaking of backpacking. And every experience I have in life, I pick it up and I put it in that backpack, whether if I want to or not. And being able to that's one of the beautiful things about having a great support group and a sponsor. A great sponsor, I guess I should put that on front of both of them. A great support group and a great sponsor is that I don't have to carry that bucket around. It doesn't have to get real heavy. I get to keep on getting the stuff out because when I get it out and show it to somebody else who understands, it doesn't weigh as much as it used to. Still there, it just doesn't weigh as much as it used to. Sitting there looking at my mahogany table, my podcasting table, and I was cutting some stuff out with a jigsaw not long ago. And when I'm not podcasting, I throw a big heavy tablecloth over top of this, and then sometimes I actually drop a piece of plywood down on it if I'm going to be like beating on it and stuff. And I was cutting something out with the jigsaw, great big ohm symbols. I made a few of them in a row, and I got into the edge of this damn table a little bit. It's not much. And maybe it just might be a battle scar. I keep thinking about maybe moving this studio inside, but people keep on, I don't know, not anymore. No, I shouldn't say that. At some point, most of the guys in my group convinced me that I should leave it out here and keep on doing it. On days like today, I got this morning, I come out here and turn the air conditioner in the shop on because I know I'm going to have a podcast tonight, and I want to shop to be reasonably comfortable because it gets pretty damn hot out here if you don't do that. So I've burnt a day's worth of air conditioning, and we've rescheduled for next Monday night. No big deal. It is as you do this program and work these, practice these principles in my life. Some of the things, what we kind of call character defects or shortcomings and that kind of stuff. This would probably fall more under a shortcoming. I don't know if it's really a character defect, but when I set my sails in a certain direction, I still have a bit of problems when the wind blows me the other way. Like tonight, that's kind of a mind frame and was all set to do a podcast and have a guest over, and it does kind of take some mental preparation to do this thing. I have to shift gears, or I have to change the channel in my brain in order to say, okay, now I'm podcast host, so let's put this hat on. And so when I set my sails to be podcast guest tonight, and then the wind blows a different direction in this case where it's not happening. There's also a thing, man, I value my time a lot today, and I try not to, for lack of a better term, waste other people's time. I try to be on time. I try to be where I say I'm going to be, and do that stuff. And I value my time because I've got a lot of irons in the fire, and when I pencil something off in my calendar that this is what I'm going to be doing, sometime in the yoga teacher training, they say if you're going to be a yes to something, that means you're going to be a no to something else. And so then I kind of sit here going, well, what am I going to do now? Time flies, man, and I have a lot of things I could be doing, and what I plan to do isn't happening, or is it? Since I'm sitting here, decided to just talk to this microphone anyway. Backpacking reference come up on Shane and Travis and Mark and I are going to Colorado. If you're a listener, you remember the podcast from last year after those guys came home, and with the energy they had after they were done. And it's kind of been something that's been on my bucket list all my life, really. The bucket list item is actually to go elk hunting with a traditional bow. That's why I shoot today, is a longbow. And I have since 2000 was when I switched from a compound bow back to a traditional bow. And that's kind of my bucket list item, is to go kill a elk with a bow. And this will be warm up for that, hopefully. After catching that felony a few years ago, the state of Colorado does not allow me to hunt at all. Matter of fact, if I understood it right, you can't have any kind of weapon at all, not even a pocket knife or a BB gun. When it first came up and I first started thinking about going, I kind of had my heart set on hunting. And these guys, my buddies who are hunting are shooting muzzle loaders, and the state of Indiana will allow me to hunt with a muzzle loader because that's not considered a firearm, believe it or not. To those who don't understand or don't realize that, there is no understanding it. It's because it's antique, it's before there's a line drawn in the sand where after, I can't remember, I think it's like 1905 or something. Weapons with the design before then are considered antiquities and are not considered firearms. So you can pack around a cap and ball pistol anywhere you want to. They can get mailed to your front door. That's a whole nother topic. But state of Indiana allows me to bow hunt and muzzleloader hunt still. And so that's cool. And I've always been a bow hunter for the most part. I have killed a deer with a gun, and it's kind of hard to shoot ducks with a bow. So I've firearm hunted when that was the right thing. But as far as my deer hunting and turkey hunting goes, I've pretty much only been bow hunting for 20 years or maybe more, on and off like that the whole time anyway. So this thing really didn't affect my hunting status in Indiana that much, because I'm still chasing those animals with a bow in my hand. And then the flip side of that is I don't ever kill anything anyway. So when this thing come around and I found out I wasn't going to get a hunt, I got my panties in a wad, as I was saying a little bit ago about like setting my sails when my mind gets pointed in a certain direction, and then that doesn't happen. And I'm sure everybody, I don't think I'm unique in that. I'm just, I can share my experience. This is the way Dan operates. I almost was like tossing the towel and just say, screw it, man, I ain't going if I can't hunt. That's stupid. But, it didn't take long to come around to the fact that I don't ever kill anything when I'm hunting in Indiana. And ultimately all I'm doing is be pretending to hunt. Why don't I just go pretend to hunt in Colorado and still have the exact same experience and not drop the $750 on a elk tag that you may or may not use? There's something there. And then also be there with my compadres and be there as a support person, because you kill elk up in those mountains the way they do it, and you got to haul all that meat out, and an extra man doing that will help. I always have a little bit of a thought, though, that I don't know what it is, and it might be whenever one of these things like I talk about a lot of times here on the podcast is self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing of I feel like I'm bad luck when I go hunting with people. One of the things is I'm just not that interested in killing stuff, and you kind of have to have that mind frame going into it, or you're probably not going to be successful. And I wonder if that don't rub off on the people I'm hunting with also. So I hate to even say that, but I do have that, all these, as solid as I am today, man, I still have a million self-doubts. And one of them is I'm going to be they're taking along a plug nickel with them because I'm unlucky when it comes to hunting. Got a bit of fears wrapped up around this trip. I'm worried about being cold. I'm worried about how much money I spent on gear. I just bought a new tent, and the reason I bought it is because it's 4.5 pounds lighter than the tent I was going to take. And when I put my backpack on and weigh it, I can really use that 4.5 pounds. Travis mentioned something today that he said he's kind of running pretty light. And if there's some things I'm taking that are more like community items, like I've got the first aid kit, which doesn't weigh much, but ounces add up to pounds. And he that's made a good point that he said, you can throw that first aid kit or that frying pan or some of the other kind of things like that in my pack and offload some of that to him, which is a brilliant idea. I don't like it because it's not my idea, but it is a good idea. So yeah, I'm got worries about having enough to eat, being cold, sleeping in a one-man tent for a week. That tent I have is not much bigger than your sleeping bag. It is, there's a thing out there called a bivvy, which is basically just a sack you sleep in. Keep the dew off of you and help you if it rains. And this little thing is not much different than a bivvy. I got it in the mail today and I set it up in the backyard. There's an old thing from, I guess, Boy Scouts and old days that said that you always want like your tent to get rained on one time. You want to get it wet once before you take it camping. And the thought was, at least the way it was told to me, was that the threads and the seams and stuff will shrink up a little bit that first time it gets wet. And the seams will be better sealed if you do that. Whether it's true or not, it don't hurt. So we don't really have any rain in the forecast, but I got a garden hose. So set it up. And another thing is, I got to set it up here one time anyway, make sure all the pieces are there and they're not broke and, have some familiarity with it. Although I've never met a tent I couldn't set up for the most part without directions. But I still want that comfort level. So I'm going to set it up here once, make sure that all the parts are accounted for, everything is doing it, get a little familiarity with it, and then also get it wet. It's really nice. It's a cool, you can definitely tell the difference in the quality of it compared to the other tent. And to some extent, that's exactly what like backpacking gear is on a sliding scale with weight. The lighter something is, the more expensive it costs. And I know it's one of the things is the materials of the lighter things is that material is actually more expensive. But I know it's also part of this crazy world we're living in and the game that's being played that I think it's kind of like a planned obsolescence thing, man. You're just always going to be looking for a lighter pack, lighter loadout. And you'll sacrifice this time, but like next time you go, man, that sleeping bag is a half a pound less, man. No, not a lot different than I did with this tent switcheroo. And that I had a 2-man tent, and I thought I wanted that room, but I don't want the weight. And now I'm sitting here doubting myself on it again, but no, the decision has been made. The decision has been made. It's interesting to watch how life rolls on. I have my heart kind of set, my dream, and I think it's my dream. Sometimes I doubt it, but, that same self-esteem issues and self-doubting stuff but I'll get back to that. My dream is that I would get up every morning and come out here and work in this wood shop and be making my income coming out, working in my backyard. You don't really know if that's your dream, because I actually do like the going out and about amongst the people, and I like the service aspect of the handyman part of my job. When I go out and help people, there's a certain level of satisfaction that comes with going and fixing people's stuff, or making their stuff work again, or installing a new something another, where it's like putting up new ceiling fans. They're happy that they got their old fan out and now they got this nice new one. They're happy. I got some money in my pocket, and it just feels like a win-win. So I still do like that, but I really do have that my sails set on doing this woodworking stuff full time. A couple problems with that. One thing is that customers are tough to find that are willing to pay the price tag for custom stuff. It's certainly not cheap. And if I don't charge this. If I don't have a decent enough rate, then I can't survive. I have to charge a certain amount, or I'm spinning my wheels. I'm not just doing it as a hobby. So I'll say all that to say this. For the last 3 weeks leading up to this Colorado trip, I have the wood shop completely booked, and I don't really have any out and about jobs. Now I filled in 3 because 3 customers had kind of some semi-emergency. So today, I got last week's project done. I spent all week last week in the wood shop making what's basically a shoe cabinet for a mud room. And this stuff it's nice furniture though. It's not don't be mistaken when I say going in somebody's mud room, but they do. And they wanted some coat hangers and shelves and cubbies and stuff built for their little mudroom kind of area where their kids come in the house, and a place for them to hang their coats and take off their shoes and all that kind of business. So we worked out a design with the couple, and went through a couple iterations and come up with some things, and they said go, and I really didn't think they would. I always doubt myself when it comes to that too, because when I tally it up and I look at that price tag, frankly, I'll just be real truthful with you guys. I go, man, there's no way they're going to be willing to pay this much for this. And, and I think about lowering the price, but I'm like, no, I can't do that either, because I got to make it worth my while too. And, if I don't value me, nobody else will. So, you have to set some value on it. And, I sent it to him, and he said, yeah, go, cool. And I did the same thing with the big built-in bookshelf thing, cabinets and bookshelves, a 15-foot wall and 8 foot tall. And I she told me what her initial budget was, and I knew that I was not going to be able to do anything for that initial budget. But you can't just go say no, sorry, bye. So I said, well, let's see. Let me do some pencil sketching and figure out. And I knew I was way over budget, and I told her, and she was still interested. And then we made a couple tweaks on it, and the price went up, and she's still interested, and she said go. So leading up to this Colorado trip, I've got it's what I should have been looking for tonight. I've got 3 weeks to hike and walk and kind of have some chill time. Be able to be in control of my own destiny here as far as the final days of training and getting ready for this Colorado trip. Because the other thing I tend to do, I run my batteries all the way down, burn the candle at both ends, and I can get myself in a position where my cup is empty by the time I hit something. I get to my thing I've been looking forward to, and I'm whipped. So this all worked out great. I was sitting here looking at these pieces of furniture. I'm gonna go install them in a couple days. That's the other thing about it, comes with the price tag with this stuff a lot of times, is also the installation cost. So it's good looking stuff. I'm looking forward to doing it, and I don't send this stuff I don't like. Sometimes I send project progress pictures, but sometimes I don't, because I want the kind of wow factor when I bring it in. If they've seen it already, it kind of kills the wow factor thing. So I am looking forward to that. A few things going on, goofy stuff, I always feel funny about talking about some of this stuff, but what the fuck. Daughter snuck out of her mother's house the other night, and she didn't know it until she got up to go to work in the morning, and daughter was gone. I can't imagine girl, you are smarter than that, man. If you're going to sneak out, you got to get home before mom wakes up. She's going to catch you. They did that to me here, a whole 4 of them, and I went in the bedroom, and I don't even remember when it was, earlier this summer or something like that. And I went, it was just too quiet in the house, and for having 4 young teenage females in the house at whatever it was, midnight when I got home. And I opened up the door and went in there, and they did the old trick where they stuffed pillows underneath the covers, to look like there was bodies under there. And I knew real quick that there weren't any. And thankfully, she picks up the phone when I call her. It would be a lot. There'd be a lot more shit going down if if she wasn't answering the phone when we reached out like that. I'm glad that she's doing that. And she's pretty honest with me on most accounts. Sneaking out of the house is not exactly honest. I was doing the same crap when I was that age, but that don't make it right. And then she comes back and asks for favors, just a couple days later, wants to join the travel club, which means a big ticket price tag. And, frankly, that ought to be more looked at as like an honor for doing the right thing. So then if we let her go, if I let her do that, then I'm frankly rewarding her for not doing the right thing. But then, damn it, you do want to allow your kids to do stuff, and it just is. It's a pinch, man. There's nothing. I've said this 100 times on here too, man. There's nothing that will drive home powerlessness the way raising kids does. So that's got my mind boggled up a little bit, and I don't know. I'm just. I'm noticing that, I'll say the first thing first. Holly and I had about, year-long relationship, almost on the nose, and I needed to end that. I didn't have any business being in a relationship in the first place, but it's hard to, the ego petting and that kind of stuff that goes on when somebody is like, because I'll just be frank, she approached me, and she's a great gal. She is. She's super. I can't imagine like when you you make some kind of pro-con list or something, and she's got way more pros because she's got her shit together, and she's growth oriented and community oriented, connection oriented, and a whole bunch of stuff. But in alignment with both of us, we come to the feeling that it's my core value of freedom that's really at stake here, and that's the freedom that I enjoy today. Not being in a relationship is something that I value really above just about everything else, and it's not that I have to ask to do stuff or whatever, but just the courtesy kind of stuff. If I want to disappear to Fargo for a weekend, I want to tell, I'll tell Dad because he lives with me, just because that's a courtesy, and just so he knows what I'm doing. But then I need to let my significant other know what I'm doing, and I know that may seem very petty, but that freedom, it puts me in a little wad when I'm not feeling that way, when I'm not feeling that level of freedom. And it was all good for a while when everything was new and all that, but it began to wear thin on me, and I got to be true to me today. And frankly, I had to be, I owe that to the other person too. Excuse me. It's not fair at all to be hiding that from them and just pretending like everything's okay. That's not fair all the way around. So that relationship ended, and along the way there, it kind of messes up some stuff because, she was a member of TSSR, and she's backing out of that now, which I can understand. She assures me that's not about me, and I will accept that answer, but I can't totally buy that because it just is a weird thing. And it's like, now I'm going to say this because at the same time as saying I got no business being in a relationship, and I should just continue to do me in more ways than one. And but my relationship before this one was somebody who was in the program, and then you end up with that closeness and the same group of friends and running around the same places to some extent, and then when the relationship ends, somebody's odd man out. And frankly, I was solid in these arenas prior to both relationships, so I'm not walking away from them. And I think I could do both, you know. I mean, it's not going to bother me if the other person is still coming to TSSR meetings and doing that kind of stuff. And of course, my Alcoholics and all my AA stuff is mostly men based. So, you know, it X's out any females right out. It's not like I don't go to any co-ed meetings, but I don't go to very many. And that's a good thing for me. It just works for me. But along the same time, you know, it's kind of like noticing stuff. And I can't remember. I think it was somebody, it was Bob D., I think, says in a talk that I listened to a long time ago about the sensitivity on his noticer was getting turned up. And I've noticed that on me lately. My sensitivities to Dad and my friends, and find myself feeling like I'm biting my tongue a lot. You know, that think before you speak, and go, well, you know, you think that. I'm not responsible for what I think, but I am responsible for how long I think it. And I don't know, I just noticed that, like, I'm hearing things that I'm like, what the hell is going on over there? I don't know what all that means. I know early on when I was in my second year of recovery, my sponsor noticed my noticer was getting more sensitive and suggested I take another trip through the steps. And I don't know, maybe it is time to do that again. It hasn't been that awful long since I've done it the last time around. But maybe I'm a guy that needs to do it more regularly. I believe that the steps are there for our lifetime, and that you should. It's not a one and done thing. You know, we do practice these principles in all our affairs, but I think you actually do run. And it's, of course, it's what I've been taught, is that, and I buy it, that, you know, more life piles up, and it's good to go through basically a 3 through 9 every so often. Again, it's keeping that trash can, you know, clean, and if clean isn't really the right word, then I like the fact that this stuff all weighs something, and when I process it properly, like by speaking to my support group and my sponsor about stuff, or go through the steps, the stuff that's in the can does not weigh as much as it used to. Kind of another analogy to that backpacking stuff of ounces equals pounds, you know, and if you're not careful, man, you can have a whole big heavy backpack in no time, and kind of like, oh hell, how'd that happen? So maybe that's happening with me now. There's some things are coming to mind, you know, but I don't want to, you know, it's certainly not right for me to air it out here. So I will bite my tongue on that, and probably everybody that's listening now is going to think I'm talking about them, because that's the way these alcoholics are. And you know, fact of the matter is, it very well may be a couple of y'all. I'm not having any problems with anybody. That's not what I mean. It's just, like I said, the sensitivity of my noticer has been turned up a little bit. But I have a life today that it's, you know, I could have only dreamed of. I'm pretty much in control of my own destiny today, and if I can work as much as I want to. The money doesn't seem to be an issue. I can make it when I want it, and I have this little app called Thumbtack, and it feeds me leads, and it helped me out a lot in the beginning. And you have to pay for the lead, so it takes your money's coming out of your account while you do it, and whether if you take the lead or you don't, but you get to set a budget in it, you know, and you say, I'm going to spend $50 a week on leads, and they're all like $5 or $10, so you can get a handful of them for that amount of money, and you won't get them all, but if you get a few, and they certainly pay for themselves as economical as the cost of the leads are. But I've had it turned off most of the summer, because word of mouth and other stuff has been going on, and I've just been busy, and there's no sense in paying for those leads and paying for leads that I may or may not get when my docket is full. And I got a new phone a month or two ago, and I'm not sure if that's what happened. I kind of think it is, but I don't understand. I thought I'd get an email that would tell me that what you do is you actually tell this app you're going on vacation and you put an end date. So I'm going to go on vacation until this date. And you can only do it for so long. It's not like I can put it out there at 2022 or something. I think you can go 30 days out or something. And I'd get this little reminder that told me I was getting ready to go live tomorrow. And I'd go in there and I'd flip the switch and bump it back out a couple more weeks. Well, a few weeks ago it went live and I didn't know it. And I popped open that app today for some reason. I can't really remember why. Oh, I know why. I looked at my bank account online and I saw a draw out of it. And I was like, what the hell? And then I realized I'd went live and I've been paying for leads and I had 32 leads in my inbox. And there's ones in there, when a customer comes in there, they can come in and kind of pitch it out, throw it out to the wolves or what have you. And, it'll say, five different contractors are looking at this and 2 have responded. And, it kind of nudges you to respond quickly. And I have a piece of me that wants to respond quickly too. But there's also a little thing that, there's a little button that pops up that says only picked you. And I do feel strongly that if they've only picked me, I need to contact them one way or another. And, right now I'm telling right now, if I don't have any time, I don't have any availability until, last week of September, first week of October. And, most kind of handyman jobs for a lot of them people don't want to wait on. There's some that do and people say, yeah, okay. And I had somebody today that said, okay, yep, that's okay with me. And, but I ran through that today and touched base with everybody. There's a few of them I just declined, and it gives you a warning about declining clients. But there's some of them that just weren't in my ballyhoo and bigger jobs. And one guy had what almost looked like a house remodel, and I'm like, yeah, that's too big for me. I'm a small job kind of guy. I like to be in and out in a day or less. I don't really want to. I do some jobs that I'm there for a few days in a row, but I prefer to do things I'm in and out on. And the other thing about that is that item, like for instance, if somebody wants a piece of gutter replaced, you got to have, if it's long, you got to have the dude on each end of the gutter just to hold it up. And I'm a one-man show, so I'm out on those kind of things. So some of them I just decline because they just don't fit me. And sometimes, for whatever reason, I will tell them that. I will send them a note. And, and it costs me money to do that. But I think it's kind of like practicing these principles in all my affairs. Somebody has done that. I feel a certain obligation to at least respond. I guess it goes to that same thing about not wasting people's time. If they need to, especially if they only picked me, I need to let them know that I'm not available so that they can either choose to wait or find somebody else to do it. I don't know if it's how long this market will last, but it seems there is no end to handyman type stuff that people need done. House maintenance is just a normal thing, and I think about the little stuff is what piles up on you, and you end up with this little nickel dime pile of stuff that this little thing ain't working, and the cabinet door ain't shutting, and the bedroom door is stuck and won't latch, and faucet's leaking, and finally it builds up on you, kind of like the trash can thing again, and stuff starts weighing on you, and then they're looking for somebody to come help and do it. And I have this skill set where I can do a whole bunch of different things. So if they have a ground fault interrupted outlet that's not working and a leaky faucet, they don't have to call an electrician and a plumber. I'm surprised myself at how well-rounded I am on, all the different things that I know how to do. Or the other thing of it is I'm just not scared to try it. I got a feeling that I can pretty much fix anything I want to fix. If it's fixable, I will figure it out. I do have some opportunities when people ask me, have you ever done this before? Like, nope, but I'm confident I can do it. So trying to wrangle up a little podcast prior to the Colorado trip, and of course I will do an after action report when we get back and share the juice of that with y'all. And probably I'm gonna take my little headphone set that I can record and actually get some record some content from actually out in the bush up on the mountain, whichever way you want to look at it, and put something together for that too. And then trying to get enough backlog, because I kind of do this thing just in time. I don't like to be telling somebody that their podcast is not going to be coming out for 6 weeks or whatever. I'm pretty sure I've been a guest on some podcasts that never have come out, which is, I don't know, it's another one of them weird things. And I get it when it comes to like business kind of thing, but man, I don't feel that. I do feel higher power sends me the guests, and I'm not running this show. And if somebody gets sent to me, then I feel a certain obligation to broadcast it. And I like this kind of just in time thing too, where I'm, like what I did a podcast yesterday, and I got a schedule to come out next week. So, but all that being said, I'm also wanting to have a few in the can, so to speak, so that while we're gone to Colorado and all that I have episodes to release. And last deer, there's been a couple windows, and last deer season was one of the windows where the guests just weren't coming, and I was busy and was hunting a lot and doing all that. So I had a little dry spell. I had a couple people contact me and was like, hey. And of course they contact me. I'm like, well, would you like to be a guest? But I'm trying to get a little backlog, and I probably should have try to get a little backlog coming into the fall. Let's get started on that 15-foot wall of bookshelves. I got some layout work. There were some final dimensions and stuff that I went and checked when we signed the contract. That I just don't put. I put enough effort into it to show the client an idea about what they're getting, and enough effort that I can understand what I'm going to be doing and how much that's going to cost. But detail-wise, I have to be kind of light on, because if I spend a lot of time in the detail area and then they say no, then I didn't get paid for that. And that's another little things, like as the design phase drags on too, the price goes up, because you're paying for that too. This is design, fabrication, and installation. And if we're gonna beat the design to death, then somebody, that's got to be accounted for someplace. Doesn't seem to be a huge problem. I've had a few people, and I'm getting better at giving a budget number up front and saying, hey, this is going to be X amount of dollars. You realize that, right? And then if they're window shopping or that's way out of their budget, I can save all of our time by knowing this is not something we're going to be doing. I have invested a great deal of time into a few projects early on in this little venture, and didn't get the work. And you spend, sometimes I think on a couple of them I had a good 8-10 hours or something of work into design, and then to say no. I've got a little scheme, but I put it into place in a couple of spots, but I just don't know about asking for a down payment when we get started on the design, and then give them 50% of that down payment back if they actually choose me to do the work. And it sounds good, but I've actually had a couple of people, I've lost a couple of clients just from saying that to them. They were like, no, never mind. And I understand it. I don't know that unless I was dead set on it, I don't know that I'd want to do that either. Give somebody money just to go home and just doesn't. I'm sure it feels like lost time to them. I'm sure it just is what it is. I understand. Well, trying to think if I got any more blibber blabber to talk about. I do have it's nudging me to not air out a couple of the things that are on my mind, but it's not fair to do that. We'll tell you TSSR is continuing to grow, and Ross's now has a meeting over in the church, live meeting, and by all accounts the women meeting is still going good, and Thursday night. So if you're interested in these 12 steps and would like to maybe see if they could have any value with you in applying them in your life, that's what we've started this TSSR for. It's helped millions of drug addicts and alcoholics improve their lives. It will help you too. It just will. I will talk a little more about a couple things. We went back to live meetings at the Spiritual Underground home group, and we're doing it hybrid. So we have a Zoom link into it too, so that you can come to the meeting through Zoom like we've been doing through the whole COVID era, and show up live. We're with the Delta variant flying around. We're going back to wearing masks again. And I wouldn't be real surprised if we're not out of the live meeting business again. I don't know. I don't watch it. All I hear is rumors, but I wouldn't be real surprised if as fall comes around, my sponsor tends to have this crystal ball, and he's pretty good at predicting stuff. And I used to kind of blow it off, but he's right too much for me to not pay attention. And if this whole thing blows up again, we might just be back where we were a year ago, all holed up and all kinds of restrictions. It's a weird deal, man. It's an interesting thing think about all these vaccinations people are getting, and I don't know anybody that's paid for a vaccine. They're free. But nothing is free, you know. Who is paying for these? Us? Through the back door? Tax money? Something just doesn't smell right about this whole COVID thing to me, and it hasn't from the get-go. But once again, this program teaches me not to carry the world's troubles on my shoulders, and that I'm quite often wrong, and that I must let go of stuff. I can't grab onto it with a fever. And so I try to actually do a pretty damn good job of most of that. But something from the get-go just hasn't smelled right. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is. It's just like I got a puzzle here in front of me and there's a piece missing somewhere. And I don't know. Usually when I just do the old pause and let it go and don't worry about it, later on down the road, that answer will come. And I'll figure out whether if I was either just wrong or the missing piece turns up. Well, I probably should tap into my phone and see if there's a chance to get into a yoga class yet tonight, or go in there and sling that backpack on and go for a hike. Otherwise, like I said, busyness is my drug of choice in recovery, and I'm just no good. If I sit around, I go to sleep. And I've already had one nap today, so no sense in having another. So my little woodworking business, DTM, Dan the Man, DTM Woodworking and Handyman in Louisville, Kentucky area. If you got some woodworking you want done, or some handyman projects you need, some things of yours needs fixing, reach out to me. It's 502-292-7444, or you can shoot me an email at dan@dtmww.net, dan@dtmww.net. 12-Step Spiritual Recovery is a book by James Christopher Cone. We talk about it every week here. Keep on beating that drum, you know. I have one goal in mind, and that is hopefully that your life improves. If it's great now, no problem. Great. Awesome. But if you got any room for any improvement, a little bit of more in your life, or maybe just a little bit of some better in your life, if you got room for any of those kind of things, maybe these 12 steps will do that for you. I know they will, but maybe that's an avenue you could choose and actually have that come to fruition. 12-Step Spiritual Recovery by James Christopher Cone can be found at Amazon. There's a volume 1, which is like about half of the work, and volume 2 is the back half of the work. There's a full volume, and you can also get it on Kindle. And I'll mention that I have a few of the opening chapters. I read them into kind of audio book form here on the podcast. So if you go to dan@spiritualunderground.org, the links to those specific podcasts are on a page there, and that way you don't have to dig through the whatever 100 and something, close to 200 podcasts trying to find those. So you can get a little, dip your toe in the water by listening to the audio and see if it strums any of the heartstrings and makes you feel like it might be something that you'd want to pursue. And as always, Darren Frank's music's wrapped around this. Can't say enough about how much I appreciate that. Love you, Darren. Love you, Christopher. I love all of you in my support group. It's a wonderful thing to be sitting where Dan is sitting today. It's a wild, wild trip. Think about where I was and where I am today. Miracles. If you're not having a blast in your recovery, it's your own damn fault. And thank you for allowing me to participate in my recovery in this manner tonight. Peace out.